Hi, for those who do not know me, I am Philip Koo, class of 1998. I'll give you a short bio just to catch you up and let you know a little bit about me. My parents were Chinese immigrants and I grew up in a mixed culture. I grew up as a minority, really in a minority culture. Today there are much more Hispanics in Miami than when I went to school, but nevertheless, most of my friends were mixed: Hispanics, Chinese, Koreans, and much more. My experience at Florida Christian can be summarized into 3 words: crisis, Christ, and change. In crisis, I faced periodic challenges of making friends and finding my identity. I did come occasionally to class with tears in my eyes. There was just a lot of pressure trying to be the typically good Asian student. But my experiences at FCS molded a lot of my life change today. If I may, I'll name drop. There were men like Michael Whitman, Robert Andrews, James Burke, and Simon Baszler who took time to get to know me. I recall the time in my 3rd grade class, Mr. Baszler was the teacher, and I came to class with tears in my eyes. Mr. Baszler just came to my table, bent down, put his hand on my hand, and he said, "Yo amor a ti," which is "I love you." There were women like Mrs. Quinlan, Mrs. Sparkman, Mrs. Benson, and many more who invited me to their house to eat pizza, to read the classics, and improve my social interaction with peers and adults. It was in crisis where I then found Christ. It is in my 3rd grade year also where for hymn concert, they gave an invitation to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I owe a lot to the people I mentioned above. Mr. Burke taught me a love for music and for language. Coach Baszler taught me a love for my peers and a love for sport, and to love those who are different than me for the sake of the gospel. It was Mrs. Quinlan who showed me that the power of reading can be connected with eating as much pizza as I possibly can. That led to change, and change came quickly. When I was 17, there was a soccer game against Belen Jesuit that really changed my direction. I grew up dreaming to be an athlete, an engineer, or a doctor, but those dreams changed. Many times when people see conflict, they think that their dreams immediately come to a halt. I never stopped dreaming. My dreams just change. I've since seen God use me in such a mighty way. At a leadership retreat in 1999, I discovered His need for me to be part of His story. Many times we believe God is part of our story, but when my life changed, God called me to be part of His story. That means I entrust my life, my career, my pursuits, and my marriage to Him. It doesn't mean I no longer have any personal pursuits. They're just now graded and measured to His character, His will, and His direction. I've since seen God give me beautiful children and a 17-year marriage. I've endured to finish my master's degree in divinity and doctorate at Southwestern Seminary. But my greatest joy is to see God use me to share the gospel within my weaknesses to countries like China or India. The gospel has not stayed rooted in me, but it has gone as far as it has gone deep. Florida Christian laid that rich, Christ-loving foundation. It was not these buildings that made the impact. It was the people, the teachers, the peers who showed me love during crisis. It was the very same people who took me to a concert, a for-him concert, to find Jesus. It was the very same people who pushed me towards life change. These formidable years laid the groundwork to which God continues to pour and to build. But this is not a story about Philip Koo and how he is at the center. It's the other way around. God is the hero. It is Philip Koo who has now become part of His greater story. Thank you, Florida Christian, for nurturing that story in me.